I've suddenly got a lot of racing and project work to do. So if a problem shared is a problem halved, I'll write it on a list. You can tell me which bits I'm missing, and you can tell me of what's remaining the priority you'd like to see it in. Let's get cracking. So there are two main categories of things going on at the moment. We could split it into what we've got going on for races and what we've got going on for projects. Now I know there's some amount of overlap, but you'll see what I mean shortly. First of all, we've got the South Cambs Good Friday meet, and that is on the 3rd of April. The cars we need for that is the TRF 201 and the Toms. TRF 201 is complete. It needs a run out, but that event is to mostly give it a run out to begin with. What it does really need is paint, and that's now becoming fairly urgent. Need to get that painted. The other thing going in that event for four-wheel drive is I'm running the Toms. I've been really struggling with racing. I ran it at Workshop on their polished wooden floor, the cork floor, and I ran it at the Pop-Along GP at wheel spin models. In both cases, the car felt like it was driving on the track, not in the track. It's riding too high, and I'm really struggling with it overall. The first thing I want to do is I've got a spare set of Tamiya high caps, so I'm somewhere still in the land of vintage, but something that will hopefully give me a little bit more control out of the car, and I can adjust the ride height better. I'm already running modified shock mounts, so they should be a straight fit. That's a small job for it, but one we'll get onto shortly. Now after that, we've got the Phil Booth GP. That's over in Nottingham, and that's on the 10th to 12th of April. We will be running the TRF 201 again, but we'll be running the Durga, both of which fit into the Phil Booth GP categories of post 94 rear motor and four-wheel drive up to 2008. It's a 2007 car, so that's all good. The Durga's good to go, but I do have a new body shop for it. I want to paint up the 201 and the Durga in matching paint, so paint is the job for those two. I know the Durga already drives well. I've driven it plenty at South Cambs. I'm very happy with the Durga. I'm a bit tempted to go for a hotter motor in it. I do have a fresher Rocket RC 10.5 turn I could put in it, and that would liberate that 10.5 turn that is in it for some other vehicle. The other thing to go with paint there is I do have new wheels, so I do need to sort out wheels and tyres on those. Wheels and tyres, I have brand new disco discs to match my paint scheme. I'll share those with you when I get around to doing paint. After that, we have Eden Park. That's on the 3rd to the 5th of June. And that is done with the Toms and the Super Mad Jute. So Toms will be good to go. We'll have run the Toms already for South Cambs. It'll be on Astro. I'll probably need it lifted slightly higher. I'll probably still be running it with those high caps. In the same age category as the Toms, I have my Avanti, and I can run that as a backup if I need to. I have run the Avanti before now at Eden Park, and it ran well. The top force was obviously better. I'm reasonably sure if I can get the Toms dialed in, it will drive nicer and better than the Avanti will, but I'll have the Avanti as a backup car. Now, a potential event coming up after that is at Broxtowe. They have a grip and slip event. That's on the 1st to the 2nd of August. That is a rally event. And so I have a TTO 2S that is already set up for rally, and I have a TAO 3F that is not. I bought it as a eBay purchase. I have done the most limited amount of cleanup and getting that car in any way, shape or form. It does not have suitable shocks on it right now, so there's more that needs to go on. Hold on to that thought for what I shall talk through in a project in a bit. What have I skipped over? I've skipped over the Robin Hood Classic. I can't make the Robin Hood Classic in late May. There is to be a Robin Hood Classic four-wheel drive. Now, the Robin Hood Classic is quite interesting because it's done as a Reedy format event. And as a Reedy format event, you end up racing against different drivers all the way through the entire event. And so you're mixing up which drivers you're racing amongst. And you end up driving in and amongst all of the very best drivers, the Lee Broadhurst, the Jamie Booth, all of those drivers. You'll spend at least one heat with those. It's totally amazing. Done on honeycombs. The grip at Robin Hood is very low on honeycombs. So it's super challenging. You learn a lot about car setup. It's definitely a great event to get to. I can't get to the 2-wheel drive, but I will keep my eyes and ears peeled for the 4-wheel drive and see if I can get to that event. I think it's in late August, but don't quote me on it. I skipped over Revival Hearts. I didn't get into Revival Hearts, but I did get into the Revival at Bingham. That is the 11th to the 13th of September. In 4-wheel drive, I'm running my Progress. In 2-wheel drive, I'm running the Super Mad Shoot. I have driven the Progress. I drove it at Robin Hood for a Tamiya Junkies event. I'll put some little video clips of that from through the day. It is somewhat high. It does like to grip roll. There's work for me to do. That was me running it on a 540 silver can motor. I want to run something hotter than that for Revival at Bingham. I don't yet know what. I don't think the gearbox can take anything exciting like a 10.5 turn. It might be able to take the fairly low torque 10.5 turn that's currently in the Durga. I do have some new diff out drives, so I can take my one bad gearbox, rebuild that with bearings and see how it goes. The gearbox that's currently in that one right now is actually bearings on all of the out drives apart from the diff, and I don't particularly want to take the diff apart. It's quite well fitted in there at the moment. The other thing for Bingham is whether I can get into the big wheel race. If I can get into the big wheel race, then I'll build something up for it. Probably something like a Tamiya dump truck. I know there's the metal versions, as in the black truck ones. Those are quite nice. That would be something nice to build on the channel and take to Bingham to race. And then there is the regular South Cams club nights. Wait till the end of the video to see what I really want to run at South Cams club nights. So that's all the races, and without planning it, it did fit on the single side. So that's okay. It'll give me some space to be able to write things and cross things off. Those are the events I'm planning on attending this year. I know I've missed some events I just can't manage to make. But those are the ones I've currently got planned. If you know that there's something I should really have on my list, please put it in the comments, and I'll reply to say whether I'm able to make it, whether I've missed it entirely, and whether it's something I ought to be thinking about. Please put them in the comments and let me know. So what have we got going on for projects? The most important project for me coming up this year is the Poor Boys Speedrun Challenge. The chassis will be announced in June. The whole event will run throughout July. I was super keen last year. I'm going to be at least as keen this year. I cannot wait to find out what the chassis is going to be. I already know what I want to be able to do. It depends whether the chassis is compatible with it. So number one, most important thing for me is the Poor Boy Speedrun Challenge. As part of our way there, I'm planning on doing a hype video for the middle of April, and I have a plan for what that one is. I'm also planning on doing another hype video for mid-May. I know what the first of those is. I don't know the second yet. It'll come to me over the while. I've got a little while to figure that out. Key thing to know about this Poor Boy Speedrun Challenge is that it's June and July. And in terms of my build time for things, it'll probably take up quite a chunk of what I'm up to. Certainly during June, and certainly during the evenings and things I've got during July to actually get out and do some speedruns with whatever the car is. The next thing I'm excited about is this box of magical parts here. The Tonic RC Honda City Turbo kit. If you haven't seen Tonic RC's video, go find it, go watch it. It's definitely worth a watch. All I'm doing is building one up and doing my own paint scheme on it. But I'm going to play with Tonic RC's parts and make it into the second best Honda City Turbo you've seen. I've got a pre-order in. The kit should be landing late March. So let's claim that that is a task for April. I want to do it as soon as I can. My challenge for that is paint, whether I do acrylic paint, whether I do automotive paint, and what I do in terms of vinyls, etc. It will not be the same paint scheme as Tonic did for his video. It will be themed very similar, but certainly beyond my ability to paint, so I'm going to give it a go. Now I also have a crawler. Now I don't do crawling. I haven't crawled ever, even though I've got this rather nice G-Made Buffalo. Along the way, I bought myself a full interior kit for it, but that's actually a kit for a TRX4. So I'm reasonably confident I can make it fit, and I'm going to do that at some point. The truck needs a massive cleanup. This is at least a year old's worth of mud and grime on it, so that needs clearing up. And we can get to the Dremel out and cut and shut the interior to fit. I'm reasonably sure it all fits, but it's a job to do. So we're kind of moving down the priority here. I've got a Riri javelin and I've got an original javelin that I want to blend the two, rebuild them and make the best that I can of it. The Riri has been really, really worn out. The original is immaculate for what's there. So I'll do a strip down and rebuild video of those. They were one of my reserve cars for revival, depending on what year group I got in. Somewhere along the way I do want to run them. Many years ago I used to have a Javelin and it was always super nice to drive, super chilled, super easy to drive, compared to the Tammys of the day, the Thundershots, etc. Just so much nicer to drive. And then one of the projects I've had for quite some period of time, but I've been, I guess, concerned, scared to do anything with. I have a body set from One Man, which is let me open the box. Inside here, we have a body shell that is a 97 Subaru Impreza WRX. I've got all the parts there to do, much like a WRX, well, an Impreza that I used to have many years ago. The key thing that I've got to do for that is determine how I'm going to make up the Subaru color reddish blue. It's a kind of, it's nowhere near as dark as the Sonic blue that you might recognize for Subarus. It's a much lighter blue, but it's also got pinky reddy kinds of tones in it. So it's going to need me to make up some custom paint, test it on some offcuts of polycarbonate, and then see about shooting it onto the body shell itself. So that's what's going to happen with that body shell. I've had that body shell now for 2 years, 2.5 years, and I've been a bit concerned about painting it up. Somewhere along the way, that's a job to do. I don't think I'll be running that at a road and rally race event. I'm more likely to be using my 2007 WRX body, but I do want to get that made up. And last but not least, on the projects list, and I guess to do with the South Cams Club Nights, the news that came out today is the Nemo N110 has finally gone into production. Now, let's not count our chickens, but the word is we're looking at a 90-day production cycle and maybe having the kit somewhere soon after that. So fingers crossed we have them before summer. If it's not before then, it doesn't make a great deal of difference. You can see I've got loads of things on. You can see I'm going to be busy all the way through summer anyway. It would be nice to have it before then. It would be nice to be able to pull it out and use it at some club nights before with summer and going off and doing all my vintage racing. So there you go. A filled-in board of what I'm up to over the summer and the tail end of this year. If there's anything on that list that you want me to prioritize and get through quicker, if you want a closer look at this WRX, for example, let me know in the comments. Give me a shout and it'll kickstart me into doing some of those projects sooner rather than later. Hope this has been somewhat enjoyable for you to know what I'm doing, where you might be able to catch me over summer, and I hope to see you around. Cheers. Thanks for watching.